Ain't no how Steppin Marcus, 804-402-2893. I want to change.
Yo, Marcus.
Yes, sir.
Can I jump in before you change?
Absolutely. Go for it, brother.
Question to you.
Yeah, man.
Anybody you drink their water of, and I'm talking nobody.
My daughter.
No. Take your family out of the question. You ain't drinking nobody's water.
I mean, I understand the point that you're trying to make.
No, I just want to know.
Well, I mean, I understand the point that you're trying to make, and if we're speaking of we up in the legacy internet radio den, and somebody sipped and then they sat behind me, that's different than they're so high and mighty that I got to drink behind them because I feel as though I'm going to get something.
Get some power.
I'm going to get something. And so I don't know if that's where you're going, but that's the way I'm going to answer it. There have been times where I've absolutely drank behind somebody and somebody has drank behind me. Yeah. If this Big Bro Joe, we've been brothers for 20 years. If we got one cup in this bottle,
it's over. No. So let me correct my train of thought here. And I don't presume that you're going to drink behind anybody. But I want to know, is there somebody that you would drink behind because they're that person?
No.
Because that's the real question. It's not the Pope. Right. It's let's first hold that mirror up first and see if let's check ourselves first. Are we going to do the same thing for somebody else? If not, then all right, let's have that conversation.
And I get what you said, but I'm glad you cleaned that up a little bit because the way you were going with it, I'm like, I'm not. First of all, like Marcus said, they said, there's no way in the world I'm going to drink after the Pope just because I think that it's going to give me some.
Just because he's the Pope.
He's the Pope. Well, I'm not going to drink after Barack. Hell, if I'm thirsty and I want to get me a glass of water and he left it there, I might drink.
So that's different. Yeah. But that's different though. But that's different.
If Barack walked in here right now and left a bottle of water here and left, would anybody take it home?
No, because we got water here.
A little bit.
Got water here.
Hey, listen, I'd be like, hey, Barack, you want some of this Makers?
I might take the water as a keepsake. I wouldn't drink it.
But what's the keepsake though?
This is the president.
Oh, see, we got one in the house. We got one.
We got one. I think y'all need to talk because you gave him what he was looking for.
Shut up.
He set you up, and you fell right into it.
I'm the type person. If I go to an event or something, a concert or something like that, I am going to keep, a memorabilia. I'm that kind of person. So,
but what you
don't think that makes me a weirdo.
But it's water though. Like, what would you do with the water?
I didn't say I was going to drink it. I'll just take it.
What you going to do? Freeze it?
I just showed people the president was drinking his water.
Yeah, he sipped on the cup.
But you know what though? After the president eat, you know what I mean? In about 4 or 5 hours, he gonna take a dump just like you.
Oh, I know that.
Right, and I said that in a very crass way to make the point that I don't get that. Like I don't.
Not chasing that dude.
Yeah, I mean the only way that's going to happen is the way I set it up a minute ago. Me and Big Bro Joe, you know what I mean? We done had a night of partying and stuff. We got one bottle and one cup. You know what I mean?
Or just the bottle.
Or just the bottle. Yeah. I guess I drank after my big brother.
Yeah. No, I'm with that. I just wanted to make sure because it's not just the Pope in that interaction, and I'm not this way, and it doesn't sound like anybody else in this room is this way.
And I think the diva is playing.
But most Americans want some sort of. My mother just got some no name from the St. Louis baseball team, St. Louis Cardinals. Autograph for my son. I didn't want to be rude and be like, nah, I don't want that shit. But that's my point is that we do want that. Like most people want an autograph. Most people want a picture or a selfie.
Drinking, you don't eat the autograph.
Be careful to judge because most of us, if we could, not us, but there are people who would say, I want something from that person.
But you know what,
if Beyonce's only thing that she can give me is a glass of water, I'm taking it.
I got you, and I think I understand what you're saying, but I would tend to agree and disagree with you.
That not us, but just
no. I got you. Just saying in general.
Yeah, just generally speaking.
I remember when we were coming up that if you got some, just like your mom and your son, when we were coming up, if you got somebody's autograph, that was a big deal. It was like, word, I got somebody's autograph. Now, I've been fortunate enough in my life to meet a lot of famous people. I'm not going to name drop, you know what I mean, because that's not what we're doing here. But I've been fortunate enough to meet a lot of famous people. And some of them, I have no proof, no documentation, no way of saying or showing you that I've met them. You know what I mean? And the same, with some of the people who I have been able to document. I have people that I can prove that I've met. But that's more for me to reminisce later on and say, wow, check out this picture I took with X. And I could have said a name just there, but I chose not to. Right. You know what I mean? I'll tell y'all off the air. But see, that's the difference between some, because when you mentioned earlier, you got some folks that's falling out crying over Michael Jackson. I always bugged out when Michael Jackson said, I'm jamming in Bucharest, and you see the video of him jamming in Bucharest, and some chick that don't even speak English sees Michael Jackson and fell the hell out.
Yeah. At them, I started to realize, hey, that's just a regular person.
A regular Joe.
So it became less, the allure of it was removed. Yeah. So, I mean, if you only meet 1 or 2 people in your life, yeah, you're going to go nuts. But if you're working with these people maybe 2 or 3 months out of the year, it's like, hey, what up, cuz? You know what I'm saying?
You get it. You get used to it. Like, I listen to Joe Madison every single morning. And in his intro, like, I play my intro at the beginning of the show. In his intro, he's got a clip of when the president, Barack Obama, called up to say, Joe Madison, what's up, man? The president says, yo, what's up, man? You know what I mean? And like, so I could tell by your reaction, you like, word, that's bugged out. And I had the same reaction. Yeah. But the president called Joe Madison. Joe Madison's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm chilling. Yeah. Because that's how he relates to him.
It's common.
And it's common. And so the point I'm making is that whoever you are, somebody thinks you just a regular dude, even if you the president. Like, I always made this joke about Halle Berry. It's like, as fine as a lot of folks think she is, she's somewhere getting on somebody's nerves right now. Right now. Ain't no half stepping Marcus J. All right, listen, I got 2 very, very quick hits that I want to make sure that I get in the segment before we take a break. In the next segment, we're going to talk about Empire, and I know we're going to get some discussion about that. Davenport Diva is giving me her approval. 2 things I want to get into real quick. B, as the guest, first timer, I want you in on this one first. I'm getting this one from thegrio.com. I'm setting this brother up. Yeah, I'm setting this brother up. 103-year-old woman says the pastor banned her from the church and voted her out. 103-year-old lifelong church member was kicked out by the pastor. Her name, Efferding, her name, Biggs is her last name. I can't find her first name. Janora Biggs. I'm sorry. Janora Biggs attended Union Grove Baptist Church in Elberton, Georgia, from the time she was 11 years old until the recent church pastor, Reverend Tim Maddox, put an end to her membership in August. Biggs did not agree with Maddox's preaching style, which had them at odds since he joined the church 6 years ago. She claims Maddox alienated other church members and made them leave as well. However, he continued to invite new members who liked him. She told the news station that 50 members who no longer attend Mass regularly returned September 20th and voted to have Maddox removed and replaced him with a 90-day interim pastor. So the point of the story is, pastor didn't like her because she didn't like him. Pastor had her voted out of the church because she didn't like him. Now, she ended up getting some folks to come back and vote him out. But the point of the story is, a 90-plus year member of the church, not 90-year-old, 90-year member of the church, was voted out of the church because she publicly disputed the pastor. That's the point that I want to have discussed amongst the table. So, brother, you up first, man.
Wow.
You up first, brother.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay, as
long wow means let me get my thoughts together.
Yeah,
because I do that long wow too.
That's touchy. And what I'm going to say is going to rub a lot of people in a crazy, crazy way. If I may say, let me start here by saying part of what I do for a living is I'm a church musician.
Okay.
Which brings about a unique dynamic because you deal with church from a religious and spiritual standpoint, but you also deal with it from a business and economic standpoint. Having said that, Sister 103 was somewhat out of line in her methodology.
Okay.
In our faith, which is what it is, you're given a shepherd or a leader. If you don't agree with your leader, there is protocol. There's, there is, even in the Bible itself, there are things that you're supposed to do. There's a way you're supposed to handle it. You're not supposed to call him out. And now here's the thing. I'm sure she's 103 years old, so I know she's older than him. And in her mind, it's like this young whippersnapper, So she was slightly in the way.
For 6 years.
Yeah, you feel me? She was slightly in the way for going that route. Now, here's the thing. He was in the way as well for returning tit for tat.
Right.
I mean, especially with a greater responsibility being the leader. And again, let me say, folks, this is in my opinion, according to my understanding of our faith. I'm not the Pope. I'm not Creflo, so don't hold me to nothing that I'm saying.
Lord,
you got a prayer clause?
Thank you for not being Creflo.
So I mean,
where you playing, dog?
Yeah, leave my man Cref alone, dog. Hey, Cref, where we at, homie? No, I'm sorry. No, that's touchy, man. Because at the end of the day, the goal is love, and I don't see much love in that. So,
Diva, this 103-year-old lady got kicked out the church because she had beef with the pastor. They voted her out. What you think?
I don't understand how you can't have an opinion and you get put out the church after being there for almost 100 years. I don't get that part. I mean, I understand what you're saying about the protocol, but when you first said it, I was like, huh? What? Like, I put that old lady out of her church? She gonna die soon, like, really?
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry to say, but she's cool. Like you said,
103.
The oldest person you know is 130, right?
Yeah.
So she ain't got that much longer on this earth. Sorry to say.
Wow. 20 more years.
So, I mean, what you putting out the church for?
Nah, I can dig it. I can dig it. Big Bro Joe, what you think?
All right, you know what? Here I go. Uh-oh. First of all, in knowing what I believe religion does and what religion is, you know, I told you I've never been religious a day in my life. I've been a spiritual person. I'm going to put that out there first. Because religion gets you killed. Seen it. Now, this is my understanding. Help me out, B. It's my understanding of church that once you are accepted into the church, you receive the right hand of fellowship, you stand there on the mourner's pew, and you get baptized in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. How can a pastor put you out of a church?
A pastor in and of himself, that ain't Bible. For him to put you out himself.
Wait a minute. Listen to what I said now. How can the pastor put you out of a church? I don't have to go, I'm going to be real country, nowhere. Real talk. I don't have to go anywhere. Which leads me to go back to the other point. I think there's something else that was added on to that. Now, she sounds like Sister Maybell to me. Meddling. She was, the church fund, the building fund didn't add up.
I don't like the way he preached.
He didn't go to the bake sale.
Go to another church.
Maybe, but I'm saying my whole thought process is, how do you get put out of a church by the pastor? And correct me if I'm wrong. I thought you said that she was voted out. But who voted?
Well, if I may, in the Bible, it's a process set about where you're supposed to come together and try to reason. If you can't reason,
that's church meeting.
Right. If somebody's just a doggone heathen that won't come to reason, it is biblical to cast somebody out of your members.
But those members are probably heavily influenced by their pastor. I mean,
I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that.
Because the one-eyed deacon in the amen corner might not be rolling with you.
I can't argue with that. I can't.
This ain't Jim Jones. You ain't getting the black Kool-Aid. Quit playing.
You know what? If I were to ask a young white man and a young Asian man and a young black man who's the meanest person you know, they're going to say that little old lady that sits in pew number
real talk.
So B and I grew up in the same church. He's
True.
5 years older than me. So when we knew each other, you were a big homie. I was a kid, but we grew up in a church with. It's a very influential person in the city of Richmond that runs this church. It's probably 4,000 members strong.
Yep, my family was huge in it.
Huge in the church, right? And it's a big church. Right. So I suspect that the mean lady that I'm thinking about, who actually just died a couple years ago, God rest her soul, she can't get voted out of that church. It's just too big. She's just too, she's not loud enough.
She got more power than the pastor.
But she's loud. So I think about that 4,000 member church that I belonged to at one point, and I condense it down to, I presume, something small like this church was. Yeah. And imagine, let's call her Mrs. X, for example, creating the same. What she got going on?
I was gonna say Johnson.
What she doing?
Feel like
what she got going on? So I presume that there could be a situation in which you would vote somebody out of your church because they are, in my head, the person that I'm thinking about. I will not say her name, but because she passed, but she was satanic. Yeah. She was. That is my opinion.
Come on, P.
Oh man, P.
I can dig it. I mean, because I've always made the joke that was, shrouded in my reality. One of the meanest people that I knew was the usher at the church that I grew up in. And so I always used to kind of laugh at that because, you know, it was my experience. Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J. Shout out to Priscilla. She's still listening to us.
Hey, girl.
Priscilla said that Papal backwash is still backwash nasty.
Thank you.
Thank you, Priscilla.
He wasn't always Papal.
Yeah, and you know what? I heard a dude say on the radio. He said he may be the Pope, but he's still an old Argentinian man. There it is. Last thing I want to get to while we're discussing religion. This is one that is sure to well, shouldn't say sure to, but it's definitely interesting. I'm getting this one from the atheistrepublic.com. This is about a non-religious mom who loses custody for rejecting religious counseling. She's a mother in New Mexico. She had received court orders to attend religious family therapy as part of her custody battle, and her sons were taken away when she refused. Holly Salzman says she was told the therapy sessions would teach her how to raise her twin sons as a single parent once she divorced her husband. However, Salzman said she could not continue attending counseling sessions as the lessons explicitly promoted religious values. Quote, I walked into the session and the very thing she said to me was, I start my sessions by praying. This is what she told the media. When I expressed my concerns that I didn't pray, she said, well, this is what we do. And she proceeded to say a prayer out loud. Last year, court in Albuquerque assigned Salzman 10 sessions with counselor Mary Pepper, who was supposed to assist her and her husband with co-parenting and communication skills. After attending the first session, Salzman informed the court that she did not agree with the teachings of Pepper, and they seemed offensive to her personal beliefs. However, the court did not respond to her complaint. When Salzman decided to stop attending the therapy, the court denied her custody of her 11-year-old twin sons. Quote, it's probably the worst thing I've ever been through in my life. Salzman was compelled to complete the remaining 9 sessions as she wanted custody, of her children. She completed all the remaining sessions in 1 month. There's more. That's enough. Joe, you up first, man.
Okay. I'm going to shoot you in the foot off cuff. Separation of church and state. There it is for me. First of all, a court can't order you to go to a religious predication. They cannot do it. Well, I take that back. They did it. They can't legally do it. And that's just dead wrong to begin with. If I don't want to go and sit in Marcus J's Bible thumping service,
doesn't exist.
And you see I look around, right?
It doesn't exist, but I got you. easy. That's one place you ain't got to worry about.
I ain't got to worry about that one. But I'm just saying, you listen to what they did. Church won't do. I mean, church, yeah. I can't see where you're gonna. You can't make somebody believe what you want them to believe or follow the ideologies that you want them to follow. That's just like sit there saying that my kids who, you know, they believe in what they believe. They're old enough now that they can do what they want to do. Well, right. Most of them. Hey, watch them out.
Whoa.
We gonna leave that alone.
Don't touch that.
Yeah, don't do it.
Can't touch this.
Yeah. Okay. So
no.
But the point to that is,
sorry.
That's not like a parent taking their child and when you're underage, you can make me do what I want to do. I got it.
B.
Well, I think that's just wrong, man. I was trying to think of a deep way to say it. That's just wrong. I think now I will say this. In my opinion, I think we do have too many freedoms in this country because we don't always have the intellect to accompany those freedoms and responsibilities to go with those freedoms. So there's that.
Pete.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen, this kind of goes hand in hand with, I hate to, I'm not switching the subject, but I want to make a metaphor kind of make sense. Like, when we see, when we hear people say that racism doesn't exist anymore, it really doesn't exist as much as we think it does, but it does exist when it comes to individuals. And we've seen that with the gay rights lady in, where was she? The lady who didn't marry Alabama, Mississippi,
Kentucky.
Some shit like that,
Kentucky.
So you can actually not do what you're supposed to, whether or not it's separation of church and state, or it's just you saying, I don't want to marry a gay couple. These people can do whatever they want to whenever they want to do it, even though it's illegal. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, hold on. We're gonna agree to disagree on that one because first of all, if you have a job, do your job.
Well, that's what
I agree with you.
Well, that's why he said.
That's why I'm saying it can be done.
Yeah.
Right, but
my
it
point
shouldn't
is,
be
that's
done,
what
right?
I'm making. That's why people think that racism still exists at such a large scale. Because even though racism has sort of quote unquote been outlawed, you can still you know what I'm saying. You can still have this young lady,
say quote unquote.
Yeah, outlawed.
You can still have an individual doing whatever they want to because they want to do it. You dig what I'm saying?
Okay, now
I don't agree with it, but I'm just saying that still happens. That's got me speechless.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio. Cousin Terry, my cousin, is listening to her. She said, 103-year-old woman helped to build the church. That may be why she felt it was her right to speak her feelings, and she was not the only one dissented, which is the reason why other folks ended up leaving the church. 100% agree with that sentiment. Our brother Hakeem is listening to us in Jersey. Hakeem says, too many freedoms. What the hell? I ain't never heard of that before, especially not nowadays. They taking freedoms away. I understand that as well. Ain't no ass step on Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. We're going to take our first break of the night. When we come back, we're going to talk about Empire, y'all. I know that y'all love the show. There are a lot of people who have opinions about the show. We about to share ours. I got our brother B, first timer, Prickly Peter, the pregame on Fridays, 8 p.m. And I got Big Bro Joe, and I got the featured guest of the night, Dating Pool Divas, up in this joint, Marcus J. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Taking a break. We come back in about 5 minutes.